Yeah. Now when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, Nestor left his couch and took his seat on the benches of white and polished marble that stood in front of his house. Here aforetime sat Neleus, peer of gods and counsel, but he was now dead and had gone to the house of Hades. So Nestor sat in his seat, sceptre in hand, as guardian of the public weal. His sons, as they left their rooms, gathered round him: Echephron, Stratius, Perseus, Aretus, and Thrasymedes. The sixth son was Pisistratus, and when Telemachus joined them, they made him sit with him. Nestor then addressed them: "My son," said he, "make haste to do as I shall bid you. I wish first and foremost to propitiate the great goddess Minerva, who manifested herself visibly to me during yesterday's festivities. Go then, one or other of you to the plain. Tell the stockman to look me out a heifer and come on here with it at once. Another must go to Telemachus' ship and invite all the crew, leaving 2 men only in charge of the vessel. Someone else will run and fetch Laerceus the goldsmith to gild the horns of the heifer. The rest stay, all of you, where you are. Tell the maids in the house to prepare an excellent dinner and to fetch seats and logs of wood for a burnt offering. Tell them also to bring me some clear spring water." On this they hurried off on their several errands. The heifer was brought in from the plain, and Telemachus' crew came from the ship. The goldsmith brought the anvil, hammer, and tongues with which he worked his gold, and Minerva herself came to the sacrifice. Nestor gave out the gold, and the smith gilded the horns of the heifer that the goddess might have pleasure in their beauty. Then Stratius and Echephron brought her in by the horns. Aretus fetched water from the house in an ewer that had a flower pattern on it, and in his other hand he held a basket of barley meal. Sturdy Thrasymedes stood by with a sharp axe, ready to strike the heifer, while Perseus held a bucket. Then Nestor began with washing his hands and sprinkling the barley meal, and he offered many a prayer to Minerva as he threw a log from the heifer's head upon the fire. When they had done praying and sprinkling the barley meal, Thrasymedes dealt his blow and brought the heifer down with a stroke that cut through the tendons at the base of her neck, whereon the daughters-in-law of Nestor and his venerable wife Eurydice. She was eldest daughter to Clement, who screamed with delight. Then they lifted the heifer's head from off the ground, and Pisistratus cut her throat. When she had done bleeding and was quite dead, they cut her up. They cut out the thigh bones, all in due course, wrapped them round in 2 layers of fat, and set some pieces of raw meat on the top of them. Then Nestor laid them upon the wood fire and poured wine over them, while the young men stood near him with 5 pronged spits in their hands. When the thighs were burned, they had tasted the inward meats. They cut the rest of the meat up small, put the pieces on the spits, and toasted them over the fire. Meanwhile, lovely Polycaste, Nestor's youngest daughter, washed Telemachus. When she had washed him and anointed him with oil, she brought him a fair mantle and shirt, and he looked like a god as he came from the bath and took his seat by the side of Nestor. When the outer meats were done, they drew them off the spits and sat down to dinner, where they were waited upon by some worthy henchmen who kept pouring them out that wine in cups of gold. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, Nestor said, "Sons, put Telemachus' horses to the chariot that he may start at once." Thus did he speak, and they did even as he had said, and yoked the fleet horses to the chariot. The housekeeper packed them up a provision of bread, wine, and sweet meats fit for the sons of princes. Then Telemachus got into the chariot, while Pisistratus gathered up the reins and took his seat beside him. He lashed the horses on, and they flew forward, nothing loth, into the open country, leaving the high citadel of Pylos behind them. All that day did they travel, swaying the yoke upon their necks, till the sun went down and darkness was over all the land. Then they reached Ferry, where Diocles lived, who was son to Aretus and grandson to Alpheus. Here they passed the night, and Diocles entertained them hospitably. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, they again yoked their horses and drove out through the gateway under the echoing gatehouse. Pisistratus lashed the horses on, and they flew forward, nothing loth. Presently they came to the cornlands of that open country, and in the course of time completed their journey. So well did their steeds take them,